What's up, everybody? It's Elijah. Today we're gonna be bringing you at your what? I'm gonna bring you at some stories, two stories. First, we're gonna do the people in the woods and the strangers from the no, we're gonna do the stranger from the basement, whatever. I don't know. We had to we gotta think of the name after the title. All right, so we're gonna be talking about story one. This is called The Strangers in the Wood. So there's a guy named um, Kamey or something. Kamey was a nice dude. Always looked out for his parents, and he was like a good son to them. And he always liked to eat vegetables, drink water. Sometimes he liked to go out and play basketball. When he lay down, it was nighttime. Then he realized that he had to charge his phone. So when he charged his phone, like poof, he heard something out the window. He was like, what? And he went outside. So he wanted to investigate what the noise was. So he went to bring his book bag, and told his mom, like he was like saying bye. Now 5 minutes later, he went outside with his water, his bottle. Um, he still heard the noise, but he didn't know where was it coming from. So he went outside even more into the woods. Then he heard it louder. It was like a southern noise, but he couldn't make it out what it was. So 2 minutes later, he sees somebody with a flashlight and a gun. Now he's like, should I go out there and confront them about these strange, disturbing noises? Or should he just leave it alone? Now, Kimmy did not leave it alone. He wanted to protect his family. So, what he did was, he started sprinting like, hey, you're making too much rackets. Can you stop? And the guy, the guy had, the guy was scared and he shot him. He like, boom. And he, Jamie, I didn't mean Jamie, Kemet, Kimmy, or yeah, he got shot and he only got shot once. He uh, he was like in shock. So they brought him to the hospital. His mom saw him. Now, 20 minutes in, uh, he had woke up. He's like, Mom, where am I? His mom was like, you're in the hospital. You just got shot. And they were concerned about him because it was normal from him because he was only like 20, 20, he was 20 years old. And he didn't know what was going on in those woods. So he's like, Mom, there was something in the woods. Did you see anybody? He was like, no, we didn't see anybody. So, which means whoever that was that shot him are still in the woods. Now, he is concerned about their safety because if they had went even more deeper to find out who shot him, they would have been they would have been their next target. Now, there's a guy called George. George is like, okay, so he, so his parents are like, okay, so my son told us he went outside. He said he heard a noise, so he wanted to go see. And George is like, okay, let's find out what's going on. So they're going outside, two people, see what's going on. And once they go outside, they found nobody. There was nobody out there. And they're like, okay, this is odd. The kid said he saw something, but why do we don't see nobody out here? And they're like, maybe he got away and we just don't know. So now they're surprised because he lied. But he didn't. He's telling the truth. But they think he lied. So they came back to the hospital like, hey, we don't see nobody, so did you lie? And they're like, no, we did. I didn't lie. I swear I saw somebody out there. Okay, so there's a history behind this man in these woods. So, uh, 1 second ago, there's a kid called Amy. I think she's a girl. Yeah, Amy was a girl. She was all like 5 years old. She went out the woods, no protection, no knife or nothing. Because she's only five. Just think about it. She's only five, guys. Five. And her mom was like, okay, Amy, we're going to water the plants. You go outside. But be careful, because it's dangerous out there. You don't know who could be out there. She went into the woods, but her mom didn't know the woods were so far. Her mom got concerned, like, Evie, where are you? So now, 7 minutes in, this is the time where she gets killed or get kidnapped. I don't know. 7 minutes in, she gets lost, and she's concerned about her safety. She should have made the choice of just like staying a little closer to her family, but she didn't know. She was only like five. So what happened was she got kidnapped, and some stranger, a man from the woods, the same dude, but this time he had a knife. He stabbed Amy no, 2 times, like boom, boom, and then she got killed. And then her mom's like, Amy, where are you? And then ever since they couldn't find her, she's just been missing. No one knows where she was, and they just couldn't find her. All right, now back to the history of for the man in the woods, the guy that shot, the guy that had got shot. Now, I just want to clarify that story, and no one can ever found out who this guy was, because they don't have no record. Nobody's really been in the woods. Nobody likes the woods because it's always been so dangerous because they don't know what's out there. But our guy here is going to find out. Jamie. Okay? So Jamie wants to find out what's going on. So Amy's parents came into the doctor's office and they're like, okay, so I sent my kid outside, and then they're like, okay, what's her name? Amy. And ever since we just could not find her. We think somebody's out there, a man or a woman. So they went outside again to search. And what did they see? Nobody. There's nobody out there. And the Amy's parents are like, what? We think she probably got kidnapped or lost. And then everybody's like, no, we don't see nobody. We're sure there's nobody out there. Now, dude, this is the time where he comes out and there's a person called these boys' names are hard to Gerald. Okay, so Jared goes outside. He wants to bring a lunch of food because he wants to just get some air. He wanted to walk around and just search around and see if anything's out there. So he goes outside, and remember how I was talking about people that were trying to find him? They look at they have like cameras. Okay, not cameras. They have walkie talkies. That's what I meant to say. He has a walkie talkie, and he's acting like he's brand new. So he goes outside, and he's like, "Okay, guys, I'm outside." And when he goes outside, he hears something. He's like, "Okay, I heard something, but what the frick was it?" Okay. Um, he he gets a little startled because he heard some branches like pop 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 breaking like you know, and then he gets his knife out. He's like, ready. He's like, I'm ready. Who's out here? And then there it is, the man in the woods. He's right there. All he's got to do is just throw the knife and boom, he's dead. So that's what he did. He throws the knife and boom, he got him. And all the police are and all the medics are out there, so they arrested the dude from the woods. They finally called him. I'm surprised they did, because it's only been like $100. They could never find him, and now Kami or Kimmit, whatever his name is, he's saved. He's alive. He's well. He's not hurt or injured. Got shot. He's okay. He's proud of the dude that saved him. He's like, hey, dude, thank you. I appreciate your work. I just never know who was out there. I'm sorry. Yeah, he said sorry to the families that had lost their kids out in there. It's only like been like 5 missing children that got killed or kidnapped. He said sorry to all those people, and they forgive him because he was a hero and he realized that there was something out there dangerous to the people, the local people out there, and now it's safe to go out. But it's a now. I was gonna say there's another guy out there, but I don't want to make another story part 2 because then that would be just stupid. All right, story 3. They're fine. They're okay. Story 3. Now this one's called. What was the name of that video? Oh yeah, The Man in the Basement. Okay, so it all started with a guy called what should I name him? Goodness. It all started with a boy called Jack. I'll just say Jackson. Okay, so Jackson went into the basement because he had to move away from his parents because his family was arguing, and he moved, and then he realized that he really cared about them. They always get into fights, so he moved. He brought his phone, his stuff, laptop. He drove into a Toyota car, and then he he drove. I don't think he took an airplane. He just drove. He drove for like 50 hours. It was freaking long. Oh my god. He drove, and then he had found a new house called Lakeshore or something. He didn't really know what the place was called, and now I don't even know what the place is called. I'm just trying to make up something. So he went inside, packed his stuff in, put everything, his boxes, because he had like a trailer or one of those trucks that bring boxes into your new house. He put his stuff away. He wanted to make sure everything was out of his car, besides his other stuff that could stay in there. He made his bed. He had to make sure the kitchen or diner was everywhere clean. Floors looked like it was clean. So he's like, okay, this could work out. But when he made sure everything was out of the way, he heard a noise coming from the basement. Now he's like, what the heck is that noise? Because he have not been to the basement. There's no house. There wasn't a house. He didn't have a house with an attic. All he had was a basement. So he went downstairs with a flashlight because it was a little dark down there. It was like 19. No, not 19. What? It's only like 50, 100 hours since he moved in, and it just got nighttime. So he went downstairs with a flashlight. He didn't need no weapons because it was okay because his house wasn't really that big. It was just a little big. So he went downstairs, and he sees a little dust and stuff. He sees like photos of the family that had lived there, and he realizing he sees blood, and he's like, "What the heck?" So he's like, "Okay, maybe if I call the police or somebody that had lived here before, I could get some evidence or some proof that whoever was here that are they okay." He called the police. He's like, "Hey, police! I had went down here. I heard a noise, and I didn't know what it was, and I saw some blood on the floor. It was just a little bit." So they all went downstairs, and they saw some blood. And they were like, "Oh, you're right. There is blood, but it's only a little bigger. It's like I think this size or I don't know." But he yeah, he went downstairs, and then he had saw some blood. Now, before we get to the truth behind this guy in the basement, before the family had moved in, they had liked the house, and then they had to live there for like 20 days, and then all of a sudden they start hearing noises. Now this is the guy from the basement. Now, no, not the guy from the basement. This is like before he had went to the basement and just stayed there. To people just start moving in. He just found a target just to kill him. So when he was a good guy, he had a kid and a wife, a boy. I'm not gonna tell you all of their names because it's hard to say these names. Jeez. Okay, so he had a kid and boy. The mom was special. They loved each other. They always kiss a lot. And the kids went outside to play like 20 hours at least. And then all of a sudden, he started having like a episode of because he don't take medicine, but he starts to have these episodes, and he want to tell his wife his kids because he want to have a good future for them, not just be staying on drugs all day. Because what if they have it, you know? So he's like, okay, I'll keep it to myself, but it's getting really worse, and I feel like I might hurt my family. So he starts seeing these little episodes like him killing his family a lot. So he's just he's like, okay, I can't take it anymore. This episode, I'm gonna have to kill them. So he brings a object. He brings a little knife. He starts like just killing his wife, like boom, 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 and he kills his two boys, like boom, boom, and then they all start going downstairs. He kicks them down there one by one, and then the blood starts to bleed out. I mean, the floor starts to bleed, and then ever since he just couldn't control himself because he had these episodes called uh, let's see, episodes called um, Death. Like it's like a death episode, like where he sees death of his wife and his kids. Yeah, so that's the name of the episode. Like it's just called that. Nothing really to it. So so yeah, that's what happened. Now he's always just been down there. He just felt like he just want to go outside no more because he don't want people to get hurt, and he just yeah, he's just been down there for like 19 or 99 days. Like God, dang, he's got to be old or something. I don't know how long, but it's hard to remember the numbers. Okay, so now back into the history behind the house. So the police went downstairs. They found the blood. It wasn't really that bad. He like it because he didn't really kill him that much. He just only like bobbed him heads or something. Um, yeah, so they found the blood and they couldn't find the guy because he wasn't really there. This really was really hard to find him because there's a little like shack and like it's like a little bigger from upstairs into the basement. That's where he's been hiding. And they find food and drinks to keep somebody alive down here. And they like, whoa, 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 hold on just a sec. There's food and drinks down here. Have you not noticed that? Said the guy. And Jackson's like, no, I only just arrived here. Like, I've only been here like just one day, or no, like 2 days. And Jackson's like, what is going on behind this house? Like, is there something I need to know? So they try to get some more people to find out what's going on, and they realizing somebody's been some one person and his family has been here, but they have been dead. They haven't been missing. They've only been dead, and there's no police. No police had arrested them because nobody's informed the um the, the bodies or the deaths. So they try to get some SWAT teams, and then they found him. He was like under the shack where he was, and he was like just hiding under there like all day. Like I'm just glad Jackson was there and he heard the noise and he noticed that there was something wrong because he not noticed his noise before. So I'm glad he was smart about it. I'm just thinking he had some Adidas on, you know, because like that's crazy. Like once you move into a house, you realize and it's fine until you hear some noises. Then you have to make sure it's all safe for you to live in. I'm glad he noticed that because if he didn't, I don't know what would happen. He probably would get killed or something. But that's it for the stories. And Jackson's in his house, living in, closing in. He's got wife and kids of his own, and he takes care of them. He doesn't kill them like that others. the other guy that was really crazy about it. If you have episode, go see the doctor or something. I mean, you don't have to kill your whole family for it. Like that's crazy. And especially the man in the woods. Like the guy was trying to see what was out there. He didn't even notice that somebody was out there. It was like it was too dark in there. I'm just surprised. Like those two stories were kind of crazy. Like the first one and the man in the woods and the guy in the basement. Like God dang, that's crazy, bro. But all right, guys. I'm gonna end this video here. And I'm going to play my guitar and I'll just chill out because it's like a Saturday and I forgot to do these videos yesterday, and I will have to get on those today because if I don't do it tomorrow, I won't have time. But all right, guys, I will see you after this. After I name this video, and hope you guys like these true history stories. And yeah, bye, guys.